welcome everybody to the first annual and maybe first ever annual International Lumberjacking Competition, only for students of Shenandoah Valley Government School.
Boy, do we have some games for you today. Now, we just finished up doing the flapjack eating contest and the who looks best in plaid contest. But now it's come down to a tight race between two amazing competitors.
It's going to be great. They're both going to take their axe, they're going to swing as hard as they can, and we're going to measure how hard they can swing it in terms of physics terms, I believe. Or whatever the woodchuck,
Woodchuck, National Assembly decided this year.
Yes. It's always different, but you always can count on the International Physics and Wood Lumberjacking Commission to come up with something.
Always. All right, so let's get to the action.
Up first is our first prospect, Chuck Cuddington. Chuck Cuddington's been a lumberjack for a long time, winning his first lumberjacking contest when he was just 6 years old. In fact, he won this morning. He won our Looking Good in Plaid competition. Still looking good, I may add. And he's lost the pancake eating competition, so he's up here for the tiebreaker with our next competitor.
And now we move on to Jack Cut It Down. A top prospect from Oregon, he came first in our flapjack eating contest, downing over 700 pancakes just this morning alone. All right, now we're here in the booth getting ready for our first swings.
All right, so now we have our first cut coming up.
Oh, and boy, is it a cut. He lines up the axe, and
He swings, and it's straight in the axe. Oh, that was a good one.
And we have our second contestant up.
Jack cut it down, gearing up for his first swing of the day.
All right, he gets ready.
He primes.
Good form. Lining up the shot.
And he swings, and it's a great hit right in the wood.
What a hit.
All right, well, those were some great cuts. Now it's time to go to the next step of the process.
All right, now it's time to head down to the analyst booth to see how our contestants did.
Tell us about it, Paul.
Thanks, guys. Now, to explain how they did, you got to understand a little bit of physics. And a little physics is where you'd like to be. Now, this is mainly a study of momentum. Anyone who knows anything about momentum knows things like to stay in momentum unless they're acted on by an outside force, or known as Newton's first law. But the outside force has to be what's called an impulse. An impulse changes momentum in a system. So, in this case, we're measuring impulse to see how much force is exerted on an object. Now, if you have an equation, you have change of momentum on this side, and you have what is impulse on this side, which is essentially force and time. You can figure out both. Now, with this competition, we can measure 3 of those variables. On this side, we can use motion tracking software to measure the velocity of the axe that's swinging down, about to hit the block. And we also can use the scale to measure how heavy it is. On this side, we can use a bit of motion tracking, looking at the software a little bit after looking at it in post to see exactly how long it takes. Now that you have change of momentum on this side and time on this side, you can simply divide time by both sides, have force on this side, and it'll give you exactly how many newtons the block of the wood exerted on the axe to slow it down. Now, due to Newton's third law, that's actually going to be the same force the axe is exerting on the wood. So that would give us our results. Thank you, Paul, for that insightful analysis to how we're going to be determining our final results today. And that actually brings us to with our final results. We've, after all the toiling, all the boys down in the lab, have finally given us some numbers we can work with to finalize and really give us a result for who won today. Now, it's been a long competition. Congratulations to all of our competitors, mainly Chuck and Jack. But I think it's finally time to tell who's the winner.
Yes, that's right. Jack Cut It Down barely managed to edge out Chuck by 3,200 newtons to 2,750. Congratulations to Jack on the amazing win.
That's a lot of force. And congratulations to both competitors, especially to Jack, who did an amazing job today. Thank you, viewers, for joining us today in the first ever annual lumberjacking competition. It's been an absolute pleasure and a gift.
See you next year. Let's go.
Oh, man.